They're Britain's most run-down abandoned buildings.
All we've done was bought a building and turned it into a mess.
From crumbling historic relics
Whoa!
to industrial landmarks on the verge of collapse.
You can't make an omelette without breaking a few eggs.
But across the country, brave and ambitious home builders
Careful where I swing.
are taking matters
Let's go!
and tools into their own hands
Are we completely mad doing this?
to rescue
What have I done?
and transform these derelict properties.
Perhaps a cliche to feel the hand of history on your shoulder, but kind of do.
Taking on such neglected places
The roof's leaking, the windows are so rotten.
is fraught with risks,
Easy.
There's no point worrying about something you can't do anything about.
with the tightest deadlines
We'll be in for Christmas. Don't ask me which Christmas.
and even tighter budgets.
We will have completely emptied every bit of savings we have.
These are the families gambling everything
This is the human side of taking on a task like this.
for a new life in a stunning new home.
It's all in your mind and your wallet. And they're both empty.
Fred, do you know what a mummy sheep's called?
A polar.
No.
No, a polar.
Ashley, do you know?
I do.
No,
Are
Are you? Yes,
Are you?
Are you?
you? And what's a baby sheep called?
Lamb.
In rural Oxfordshire, farming life is a family affair.
Grampy's come to check the sheep, look.
Four pairs of two.
Should we wave hello's Grampy?
For Rob and Ashley, bringing up their young children, Freddie and Rosie, in the great outdoors is a dream come true.
And this is where all the good blackberries are, aren't they? Up here.
Yeah, we'll have to come blackberry picking soon, won't we?
Best one.
The super juicy ones.
So when Rob's parents offered them these unused ramshackle old barns on the family farm, they jumped at the chance to convert them into a family home.
We would never use it really as a farm building anymore, and it just sits there storing a lot of rubbish, really. If you can finance it and do it, make use of it now, you'll have much more pleasure out of it than inheriting it in 15 years or so. So to take it on now at your time of life is about the best time to do it, isn't it, really?
It's giving Freddie and Rosie the childhood that you had, because you just loved growing up on the farm. It's always been your favourite place, hasn't it?
Yeah.
Even when we lived in London, like, we loved coming back here. And so we would just love to live here and let them kind of have all that freedom and space to run around.
One big advantage would be babysitting.
Oh, really? I hadn't thought of that.
They may have their childcare sorted, but this place needs more than a bit of mucking out before it's ready to be called a dream home.
So this is the kind of the main house, which will be the focus of the barn conversion, and yeah, important to us that this still feels like a barn. Downstairs is all going to be open plan, so all the space you see around us down here will all be one big space with
What
kitchen.
would that be?
Good question, Rosie. I'm struggling to see the vision too.
Let me finish. A kitchen on this side, a lounge on that side, and kind of a big open dining hall area through the middle. Upstairs will be a master bedroom on this side, with a family bathroom and another bedroom on that side.
The barn has been used for nothing more than storage since Rob's parents moved here 30 years ago.
It's probably been a dream of mine for quite a long time of being able to convert this building into a barn. Mum and Dad, they have thought about it in the past, but have never needed to do it.
Whilst this old barn will be given a modern makeover, the family are keen to retain its agricultural charm.
Well, the original horse and carts used to come through and into the barn will be kept open. It'll be a fully glazed area to look through down to the farm, and it'll be a fully glazed area on the front of the barn as well to maximise the light coming through.
The family's two horses, Giacomo and Percy, will be upgraded to a brand new stable block, with their old stomping ground becoming part of Rob and Ashley's grand plans.
My mum lived up north, so we wanted her to kind of have her own space when she comes to stay and not be woken up at 6 in the morning by our children. So hopefully this will be like somewhere she can come and stay as well.
Lucky mum, hopefully the horses have moved out by then. The couple have never attempted anything more than some basic DIY, so they'll be put through their paces on this one.
We both sort of flip-flop. We take it in turns, I think. One of us will be really excited and really positive, and one of us will be like, are we crazy? Is this a really bad idea?
You've not even broken ground yet, guys. Don't crumble at the first hurdle.
It is scary and it is daunting, and I'm sure there'll be lots of sleepless nights and we'll sort of question why we're doing it, but I think it felt like something that we just had to do. This is too good an opportunity to miss.
This barn started life as a shelter for livestock when it was built in 1840. A one-up, one-down farmhouse was built alongside the barn for the workers. An extension was built in the early 1900s and forms the section of the house where Rob and his sister grew up and where his parents still live. When Rob's family moved here, the barn housed sheep in one side and stored grain in the other. The agricultural building at the side was where Rob used to help rear the calves as a boy. They built an extension which forms the bulk of their living space today. But the barn fell into disrepair when it could no longer be used for housing livestock. Rob and Ashley's impressive, family-focused vision will take the rustic charm of this old barn and transform it into a home with plenty of space for them and their lively children. The agricultural building and stables at the side of the barn will be demolished to make way for a large extension. Inside, the original barn will form the family's main space over 2 stories. Through a new entranceway, a spacious hallway will lead to the open-plan kitchen, living and dining area with bifolding doors leading out to the farm. Rob's parents are giving up half their space so that Rob and Ashley can extend into the old farmhouse building to create a snug with an original inglenook fireplace and playroom for their kids. Upstairs will be a master bedroom with Ashley's dream ensuite and dressing room. And across the impressive suspended gallery will be Rob's office, a bathroom and Rosie and Freddie's bedrooms. Outside, the old roof will be stripped off and replaced and 4 flush-fitting roof lights added. Their most contemporary addition, a large gable window framed in timber above French doors, will be the showstopper at the front of this stunning home. Sounds impressive. And they want it all done and dusted for Rob's 40th birthday next October, just 16 months away. Best get cracking then.
We've got a heap of stone left over on the farm, so I thought we'd make good use of it and fetch it round and pile it up ready for when the builders start.
It's not a doll's house, Rob. You might need a bit more than that.
It's great.
Yeah.
Really handy, though.
Yeah, not have to get everything brand new and bought in. It's nice just to reuse some bits.
This will help the piggy bank because there's absolutely no wiggle room for overspends.
Well, I think we're both worried we're going to run out of money.
Yeah.
That they're going to find that the beams are rotten or there's like some problem underground.
If it needs a lot of underpinning, which will be an expensive exercise, which we haven't necessarily budgeted for, so fingers crossed that that doesn't happen.
Yeah, I think money's the biggest worry.
With Ashley's job as a primary school teacher and Rob's job as an environmental consultant, they'll be leaving the hard graft to the professionals. And by July,
This is it, look.
the cavalry has arrived.
Really big day. Actually, the concrete's being poured and we're coming out of the ground. And everything's going to start going up rather than down now, so you can get a real sense of the size of it. I think you keep looking at it and thinking it's absolutely massive.
Yeah.
Project manager Andy is heading up this build and is already channeling his positive mental attitude.
The pump's not going to break down and the concrete's going to turn up. That's what can go wrong. You know, the pump, they notoriously can break down, not reliable, and the concrete might not turn up, but no, they're good, they should be here, so that's really all that can go wrong.
Andy's manifesting seems to have done the trick.
Never thought I'd say I'm excited by a concrete truck, but I am today.
No, I wanted to get you for Christmas now. A little toy concrete truck. So the concrete's going to come out of there, into there, and they're going to pump it through into the trench. Here we go, look. A momentous moment.
I can't believe I'm actually excited by this.
45 tonnes of concrete is pumped into the trenches, which will form the new extension.
Yeah, in it goes. They've got to fill it all the way up to those red bits.
3-year-old Rosie doesn't quite share the same excitement as Mum and Dad.
You having a rest?
Your legs are quite hurting. Had a hard day.
Is it all very tiring, Rosie? Yeah?
And has decided to take matters into her own hands.
Oh, you're building a house. That's a good idea. Who's going to live in the house? No one. Just have an empty house.
Fortunately, Andy and his team are using a more traditional build method.
Going well. Just trying to level off the top of the footings so they're nice and level to build off.
Be able to play pool on it tonight, how level they've got it. No, it's looking really good. Can't believe how smooth it's gone.
It's all properly happening.
Maybe a bit early to pop the champagne, but yeah, first milestone done. Guys made a really good job of it.
I'd keep those bubbles on ice for now, Rob. There's still a long way to go.
Rosie's having her boots washed by the builders, look.
Now that's what you call a first-class service. Two months later,
Morning.
and it's time for Andy and the team to make sure this 200-year-old barn is ready to last another 2 centuries.
Got a spider crane coming in to lift these 2 big steels in because they're like 380 kilos each, I think. And then we can move on to getting the 2 first floors on this side and that side.
Before they can add a whole new floor, they need to be sure the barn can take the extra weight. But adding nearly a ton of steel to this old building comes with some risks.
It's a 200-year-old barn and we don't want things falling down. So yeah, we'll wait and see.
In Banbury, Oxfordshire, Rob and Ashley's dream of rural living on Rob's family farm is quickly turning into a reality. But it's a huge gamble transforming a crumbling agricultural building into a modern family home.
Today's job is getting those big steels in onto these pad stones that we prepped last week.
It's all on project manager Andy's shoulders if it all goes wrong.
So yeah, just got to be super careful today, make sure everybody's aware of what's going on. We've lasered them in, checked and double checked them, so they should be pretty good.
But 380 kilos is proving too much for this incy-wincy spider crane to manage.
The problem we've got is the weight of the steel and the distance from the spider crane. By the time the boom is extended, it can't pick up the weight. I think it's about 150 kilos when the boom's right out, and these are like 360, 380. So we've had to move them along closer to the crane so that enable it to pick them up.
Old-fashioned manpower it is then.
Mind your fingers between it.
Put my fingers between them.
No. She's about to drop off this one.
A bit of muscle and the steels are where they need to be. The spider can take it from here, guys.
Yeah, a little bit tricky trying to manoeuvre it in here.
What a coincidence. Rob's turned up just as the heavy lifting is done.
First one's in then?
First one's in.
Great to see it here. It kind of feels like the first real bit of turning it into the barn conversion, really. Yeah.
Yeah, it's up there.
It's going pretty quick so far. It's like Meccano set now. We've just got to bolt it together. Just got to hope Andy's got his measurements right.
Easy for you to say, Rob. You've missed the hard bit.
We'll get it here. They've both got to come in a bit. Yeah. On these ends. No, right. Once we get it all bolted up, we can just lift one end at a time and just position it a bit. Yeah. But really, you can't, you need gap to get them in to start with, really.
I think you might have jinxed it, Rob, because the wonky walls of this old barn are proving tricky.
Because this barn is obviously a couple of 100 years old, it's not 100% whether the walls are parallel with each other. And although to the eye it might look like they are, we need to get the bridge gallery centred and running parallel with the ridge of the existing barn. Not easy with a 200-year-old barn.
With a bit of welly and a sledgehammer, the beams are shifted 5 mil, creating a perfect fit.
That was a fairly delicate process.
Yeah, very.
5 mil sorted out with a lump hammer, sledgehammer.
Little tweaking.
Yeah, really. I'm really impressed.
Yeah,
happy.
Happy.
Happy with how it's gone. Kind of gives you a real sense of scale now as well, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, I kind of want to get up there.
I wouldn't try that just yet, Rob. Over the next few weeks, progress continues at pace. The scaffolding goes up.
This is the first time they've put the scaffold up and on the insides.
Good.
To the delight of some.
Oh, it's gone all dark again, hasn't it?
What do you think, Rosie? You happy playing in the puddle?
And the rest of the beams are put in. But 3 weeks later, things have come to a grinding halt.
I think we had a few weeks where concrete was poured, walls were going up, water was going in. It felt really rapid. And then we've had these last 3 weeks where nothing could really happen. A bit of stone prep, but not seeing much change to the build.
Nothing more can be done on site until ecologist Peter has inspected the roof space for bats.
During the planning application, we did the usual surveys, and that's when we found the small roost of brown longheads, and they were using their gable ends in here.
Bats are an endangered species across Europe, and by law, they have to be fully protected and carefully rehomed. So before further work can happen on the roof, Peter needs to make sure they've departed once and for all.
We've had to monitor it over a period of nights to make sure they're out, so we've had closing the doors, open the doors, persuading the bats to leave at the best time of the year, which is now. And now we are just supervising the final stage, just in case there's the odd bat left behind.
With the weather set to turn, Andy could do without any delays. But unless the inspection shows that their winged friends have moved on, the build can't.
We've got really good news. There are no bats. They didn't see any when they've taken off the ridge line. They've taken off some stones on the gable end. There's been no bats at all, so we're really, really pleased. And they can just strip the roof. They've had the all clear from the ecologist.
Back to it then, team.
Good news?
Yes, all very good, very good. No bats to report, so yeah, good to go. Get it stripped off. Get it stripped off.
Yeah, brilliant. You've waited a long time, haven't you?
Yes. Yeah, we've been waiting for this day.
With tea break officially over, it's back to the grind for the roofers. And before the day is done, there's even more good news.
Roof doesn't look in too bad a condition, timber-wise, so far, so that's good.
Not bad for a 200-year-old barn.
Once you've stripped it, and then what will you do?
Get it covered again with a scaffold.
Mm-hmm.
Strip off any timbers that aren't needed.
Okay.
Some of these big purlins will come out. And then insulation. Start to build the new roof
build it back up again, okay.
Yeah.
And over the next few weeks, things kick up a notch.
And this is some of the purlins and rafters that we want to keep exposed within the barn. Look at that. One of the old nails that they've probably used to put one of the roofs together. That's massive. What do you think then?
Nice. Oh, it's nice having the windows in, isn't it?
Yeah, really nice.
Oh no, I haven't seen these on. Oh, I'm so glad they've got that. That end wall is going to look great.
Yeah.
Even Rob has been getting his hands dirty, sanding back all the original timbers. Come winter,
How's crunching on the ice then, kids?
Good.
One of the many reasons for moving to the farm.
they've been cracking on with a new roof.
So we've got all the rafters and the trusses and the purlin sounds, and then they've been in and put the insulation on, and then they're in the process of finishing the slating of the roof.
Making sure they don't lose any days to bad weather, the barn now has its winter coat on.
This winter seems to have been relentless in terms of rain. Having this tent, kind of the scaffolding roof up with the tin roof and wrapped in plastic has saved us so many days. Otherwise we'd have had a lot of lost days. Keeps the wind out so it's not as cold in here. Keeps the rain out so you don't get wet.
It's a huge extra expense, but clearly worth forking out for, and local roofer Adam thinks so too.
It's been a pleasure, especially with a tin roof over your head in December. They've used the less conventional roofing felt. This was sort of more traditional in the olden days, but this is a bat-friendly felt. That's been reinstalled and covered with a 2x1 batten and then a nice Spanish slate over the top to cover it off. I think it's a shame to see any old building go to ruins. So I think the more people can sort of restore them and bring them back, then the better.
But the age of the barn is still keeping the team on their toes.
Who's doing the count?
I'm up.
Quick.
There, down. That's it. That's it.
We've had to go and get some coping kneelers specially cut to sit on this end, which are big stones which weigh over 60 kilograms, and basically they need to be set and they hold up all of the stones that form the water table that run up the gable ends. So the projection of that out is shorter.
There's always something different on these. There's always a different challenge. Nothing goes easy on a barn conversion.
In Banbury,
A bit of a site invasion.
barring an invasion of sheep, things are shaping up nicely at Rob and Ashley's barn conversion.
Yeah, we need all the tiles off, please, Fred. Why are you knocking that down?
Well, I thought there might have been a bread oven behind
okay.
it. But there's not. It's a bit disappointing. It's not a bread oven.
A year into the build, and they're knocking on. And in.
We've finally knocked through into the old farmhouse. So this was the one up, one down original farmhouse that was built with the barn in about 1840.
Rob's mum and dad have given up half of their adjoining farmhouse.
We've now blocked off the doorways that went through to the extension that was built in the early 1900s.
Wise move. I'm sure mum and dad will appreciate the privacy.
One of the really interesting things when we've been knocking through these walls is, and the builders were amazed, that in the middle of the walls, in every single corner, there have been some oak beams put in, which tie together in the corner to help tie the corners of the barn together.
It's these extra thick walls that are proving a head scratch for heating engineer Peter.
How difficult has it been to drill through those walls?
It's taken about an hour and a half.
Has it?
Each hole.
Wow.
So it's not been fun. It's, you know, old buildings, they're rubble filled in the middle, and, you know, it's just rock hard.
Peter and his team are adding a modern heating system to this very old house, but it's leaving Rob hot under the collar.
Probably the whole heating, the MVHR system, how getting it into the house has probably been one of the things I've been most anxious about, because it's relatively new technology that's coming into us.
Once again, the age of this barn is providing them with another hurdle to overcome.
Because it's an old barn, we've got really thick walls, so getting some of those really thick pipes through those walls has been challenging. And also because it's a barn conversion and we've got vaulted ceilings, we haven't got any loft space.
The new system will extract the stale air from inside the house and circulate cool, fresh air within, ultimately saving them a large chunk on their heating bills, if they can get it right.
So typically the MVHR unit and pipe work sits in the loft, and then you use that space to spread the pipes down and drop them down into the rooms. We haven't been able to do that on this build, so it's been a bit of a head scratch of how we get the pipes through the house.
The only way to get around this tricky building is to fit the piping under the ground and up through the ground floor walls, leading to a very technical plant room.
We've got to be really careful in how we are putting the pipes together under the screed floor to make sure there's a really good seal, because we won't be able to get back to them if there is something wrong with the system when we come to commission it. So a bit of a risk there.
It hasn't been a walk in the park. Being an old building, there's big, thick walls. But, you know, that's what we get paid for. You just get over the problems. It's not easy. We've rearranged upstairs a little bit. We couldn't get into your playroom.
Oh, right.
Because on the plans, it showed it coming up here and through there.
Yes.
So what we've done now is we're going to change that to a T.
Right.
Go up and then drill through here.
Engineer Lewis has drawn the short straw and has the back-breaking task of drilling through the super thick walls.
That's good. So then we're just going to have a little vent up there?
Yeah.
OK, cool. All right, well done. One to go?
That's Peter's
job.
Peter takes the glory and fits the last pipe of the day.
So good job we're not a small, pokey cottage. Almost millimetre perfect, isn't it?
Obviously, you wouldn't expect anything else. This one's just got to connect onto that pipe and then everything up here is done. So upstairs is complete.
The end might be in sight for the engineers, but there's no let up for Rob.
The next big thing that worries me is the windows and getting the windows in. There's a lot of glass to go in, and just want to make sure it gets here, it gets fitted, there's no breakages, because I think some of the lead-in times on that can be 6 to 7 weeks. So if we've got a bit of an issue, that is going to set us back massively in terms of getting the project finished on time.
Two weeks later, and Rob is on tenterhooks as the window fitters arrive on site.
Morning, guys. How you doing?
How you doing? You all right?
Yeah, all right. Feels like today's been a long day coming. Good to finally see you guys here.
This is the one element Rob has been solely responsible for. Any miscalculations, and it's all on him.
Once they're in, there's no breakages and they're all the right size. I think I'll be able to sleep a little bit easier.
That's it, yeah.
I think tomorrow's supposed to be pretty wet, so yeah, if you get it all finished by the end of today, that'd be great.
Yeah, that'd be nice, wouldn't it? If only every job was like that, eh?
Well, yeah.
On that note, head fitter Liam and the team crack on, but hopefully not literally. But they've barely begun, and Liam has spotted a problem.
The window guys have asked, on the extension, are there any cavity closures going in to kind of seal off where the rock wool is? There are some here and you're going to get the rest. OK. Yeah, there are. There's some here. They need a few more.
OK. They need to go in before the windows?
Yes. Are you ready to go with the windows?
Yes.
Right. OK.
It's not a great start and a setback they could do without. Until the builder closes off any gaps between the walls, preventing any drafts or heat loss, no windows can go in.
So the cavity walls need closing off. So the builder now is going to start closing off the cavities so then we can have a full airtight gap. Because currently at the moment, there's a void. So they get closed off and then the windows can go straight in once that's done. So without that, you wouldn't get maximum you'd get on the UU values because it won't be creating an airtight gap.
Without airtight windows, the state-of-the-art MVHR system will be pointless as warm air could escape. Fortunately, the cavities are quickly closed off and Liam can get to work fitting the first window.
Stand her up. So the lintle's out a little bit. It's an old building, so it's going to happen. Yeah, so we'll go with that. I mean, it's only a mil. We'll run with that as long as it's level.
This is it then. First one's gone in, going in. It fits.
As a start.
Yeah, start. It's broadly the right size and shape, so that's good. How difficult are they to fit? Pretty easy.
Really, really easy when you know how.
Over the next 2 days, the team make up for lost time. But by day 3, the heavens have opened.
Hopefully the weather doesn't beat us.
Today, the glazed front entrance is due to go in, but not until there's a break in the rain.
No, I'm just hoping that the weather holds off.
In Oxfordshire, the installation of Rob and Ashley's new windows is close to being rained off.
Frank, isn't it?
Just as they start to lose hope, the sun creeps through. So the team make hay while the sun shines.
Yeah, he's lifting. Up. Closer to the wall, John. Lift, keep it up. See. Right, the bottom's got to come out anyway. It's about where it wants to be. We've got to be 70 mil, so it's about roughly there. That'll give or take. Yeah. Can we get some cleaners to remove this? Right, it wants to be there. That's spot on where it wants to be. If we can get a fixing in there, that can't fall out. It's not going anywhere. It's tucked in there nicely.
Millimetre perfect?
Millimetre perfect, yeah.
Awesome.
Needed a little bit of persuasion, but it's in.
Looks like you got your measuring skills spot on, Rob.
Great to see that in and see how much additional light that kind of lets in from up there. Shame it's not a sunny day, because it'd have been great to see it all coming in.
Rob's dad, Brian, has popped round from next door to admire the new look barn.
I said to him if he wanted to do it, sort the planning and sort the finance, there you are, it's yours. And he's made a good job, making a very good job of it. Yeah. Windows are in, it's nearly weather tight.
You've breezed this, Rob. I don't know what you were panicking about. A few weeks later...
I'm really excited about the caravan.
Freddie's ecstatic about a new arrival on site.
We sold our house to help fund the barn, and we were really glad for it all to go through and to have the money in the bank so we can finish off all the bits in the barn. It's part of the process, isn't it, of sort of doing a renovation that you think, well, at some point we've got to live in a caravan. But I think it's suddenly come round, and hopefully it's a short amount of time that we're in here.
What's it like living in the caravan then?
It's wobbly and rubbish. And really, really rubbish, except for the fire.
The gas fire?
Yes.
It's a bit chilly, isn't it, this morning?
You can see it sort of out the window and you think, that is nowhere near ready. We're going to be in here for a while. Or you'll sort of be lying at night in the caravan and you'll like hear a bang and be like, oh my gosh, is that the barn falling down? Is something happening to it?
How many more weeks have we got left before we move into the barn?
25.
I think I'm going to be crying if we've got 25. Another 6 weeks. You can manage that? Yeah?
No, it's been fine.
It's been fine, but I'm not going to miss it. And
I'm really not gonna miss it.
So they've given themselves a 6-week deadline to complete the house and move out of the caravan. I'd say their plan is wobbly at best. But they keep pushing on, and come October, it's finally the time Ashley's been waiting for.
How are you getting on?
Fine, thank you. Fine. I kind of get in there. Finally get in there.
Getting the hob in, that's exciting. We're in the kitchen. I'm really excited to have this going in now. This is what I've always visualised when we knew we were doing the house, sort of imagining having a really lovely space where I can cook and the kids can be around and we can have friends over, friends and family over. So it's really exciting to have the kitchen going in. I think we're on version I of the kitchen design because it's just I've just had another idea, just had another change. Yeah, the kitchen is a big spend, and I think every time I come back and I'm like, I've just added a little thing extra, I think Rob balks a little bit. But at the same time, I was like, we're in it all the time, so we've gone a little bit over the budget, but I think it'll be worth it. Once we're in it and we just love it, and our lives are so much nicer because we've got this lovely house, I think we'll be all right. We'll forget about the budget so much.
I wouldn't count on Rob forgetting about the budget, Ashley. But how's that moving in deadline coming along?
So the original plan was that we wanted to have Rob's 40th in the barn. That was always our goal from the beginning. If we can be in by the time you turn 40, we're going to just miss it by about 3 weeks.
So instead of hosting a party, Rob's spending his 40th painting.
Here he is, hard at work. What's this?
Getting covered in paint?
Yeah, that's what the white in the hair is.
Right.
Rob's turning 40 tomorrow, so he's feeling a bit sensitive.
But over the next few weeks, everyone pitches in.
What are you doing, Dad? The finishing touches?
Yeah.
Reveal yourself.
So I have you going to be.
Who?
Oh. A house renovator!
It's been a huge family effort, but over 16 long months, Rob and Ashley have managed to transform this into this.
I can't believe that's actually going to be our house. Yeah. I was a complete novice. I didn't even know how to paint a wall or anything. You are definitely...
Questionable whether you still do.
Yes, might leave that to professionals. All the hours you've spent scrubbing all the beams. It's no, we've put a huge amount of effort in.
We've got something great that's going to be a house for us to live in for the next 20, 30 years.
Thanks.
And stepping inside, it's clear their determination has created a truly stunning home.
This is going to be the first place that everybody comes through when they come to our house. So we wanted it to be a really lovely entrance.
Almost the journey as you come from outside, you get a glimpse looking through the glass, and you get a glimpse again through into what you're about to step into. So I think it's helped slowly build up that kind of expectation of stepping into the main bit of the barn conversion.
It was really important to us to still have as much of the exposed stone as we could, because we just wanted to show what the barn used to be, and it's so beautiful. This was good enough to be able to have a whole wall, and then there's little teasers throughout the barn as well.
Although they're not completely finished, the huge open spaces are filled with glimpses of this barn's rich history.
We really wanted the old original features to really be the main part of the house. So we wanted to make sure that every choice we made, it wasn't overpowering the original features, and they could really be at the forefront. That was the stonemason's mark, sort of as his signature, that was his work. But I love that it's an F and we've got a Freddie. I think that's great.
The barn has lived many lives, but with Rob and Ashley's mindful approach, its new chapter will be as a family home for years to come. And up the custom-designed oak staircase, soon to be accompanied by a black steel banister, the windows really steal the show.
I love the light from here.
Yeah.
I think that's so beautiful. I think we'll just end up standing here just looking at all it.
Gorpy.
Yeah.
How it casts itself across the lime plaster and picks up all the kind of the rough finish on the lime plaster looks really, really nice. And being able to see the kind of the original rafter structure, which we've kept exposed.
Upstairs, Rob and Ashley's bedroom and dream ensuite provide a quiet sanctuary.
We really wanted it to be a really calm bathroom, and we just love how it's all like natural stone and wood, kind of like we've used in the rest of the house. It just feels like a really serene place to be. It's definitely far posher than anything we've ever had before. Yeah. We absolutely love it.
We don't even want to use it. It's too posh. Yeah, we need to work out a bit of a privacy screen for that, but we'll work that out in due course.
Once we had our first flashing incident, then we'll quickly work it out.
And speaking of privacy, Rob had his own non-negotiable.
It was important for me to kind of have my little hideaway office space up here, kind of in the attic of the barn, so I can come away and sit quietly. We've got the window, which will be a good view out to see when it's safe to come out and the children are not trying to find me, or a good hide and seek location.
But one thing they can't hide away from is the budget.
The advice from our architect was to allow a 20% contingency. So we've been through the budget and we've been through the contingency. It's been planned off a regularly updated spreadsheet and...
Yeah, that's definitely down to you.
Yeah. Yeah, I dread to think.
Yeah, if I'd been in charge of the money, it would have been.
Yeah, you're supposed to be doing the VAT return though, so we'll see how that goes.
So their contingency may not have survived, but hopefully their marriage is still intact.
I thought we would fall out, but I think we've actually stayed very calm and measured through it. And I think we've both really respected that there's certain things that are really important to the person.
Rosie and Freddie are already reaping the benefits of being next door to Granny and Gramps.
Let me and Freddie go first, then we can show you.
You go first, and then we'll know what we're doing. Rosie's going first.
We've been very, very fortunate in Mum and Dad's generosity in allowing us to take on the barn as a project. And they've loved it as well, because I think they always thought of something similar, but have never been able to do it. So it's kind of been partly realising their dream.
And now Rob and Ashley can pay them back for all that free babysitting.
Oh, well
So
done.
we don't have to drive home, Brian.
No, I can... Is that my bottle?
Lose, yeah.
We'll have a bottle each.
Yeah,
I must admit, 20-odd years ago, I said I was going to do this barn up, but I wouldn't have done it anywhere near as good as this.
And credit where credit's due, it was Rob who saw the full potential of this old, empty barn.
It's been his dream, and he's really wanted to do it for himself, but also because he knows that we will all have a lovely life together as a family in the house. So he's just put his heart and soul into it. And I just want him now to enjoy it.
I am really, really proud of Ashley. She kind of trusts me to come on the journey and kind of move into the countryside is incredible, and kind of all the support and love she's given me has been truly outstanding, and I wouldn't be here without her. So yeah, really, really proud.
I'd say absolutely amazed about what you've both done, and we're beyond proud. So yeah, brilliant.
You've actually fulfilled my ambition to greater than my expectations. So 20 years of waiting to see this done, and now, well, it's unbelievable what you have done to it, really. So cheers, all the best. And I hope you have many, many years as our next door neighbour.